All right, guys. I'm doing an update on my desk. My plan is to finish up this weekend. Last weekend I primed it. I did a first layer of primer, and then last night, Friday, I did another primer layer. The first can actually wasn't enough, so I had to touch up all the spots I didn't hit last time, and then I doubled up on all the vanity spots, all the spots that you see, like this outer edge, obviously the top, and then these inner edges. So any edge that you would actually interact with, and these a little bit, I doubled up these. So any edge that you'd interact with, I doubled up the primer on there, and because I sanded it earlier to try to smooth it out. So this has been a ton of work, and I don't recommend you try to make your own desk unless you actually want to do it. You have really specific needs. So I had specific needs with this desk, and you couldn't actually just buy one specifically to my dimensions. So let me just show some details about it. This is another thing I learned that if I built it again, I would fix. Well, basically what I did was I built these like little rectangles with an extra edge on it. I built 4 of those, and then I connected them with these pieces. And with these, I used the jig to pocket hold them. Well, you can see I did that on the inside. Now, if I was smart, I would have done it on the outside. It would have been easier to screw everything in, first of all. And second of all, when you put the MDF panel on top of it, you wouldn't even see it. So then I ended up doing a ton of work trying to fill these. I put some wood in there, and I sanded it down and did work, and it's still not perfect. So ideally, when you do it, if you are going to put a panel on top of something or connect another piece of wood, do your pocket jig on the side that's going to get covered. So that would have been a big savings in time. This probably took me 3 to 4 hours doing this, and I only did this front side. I only did these 16 of them, the 8 on each side. So I didn't even do the back. So that's what it would look like if I didn't pocket hole it. It doesn't matter because it's wood. It's not going to get damaged, but it just would look cleaner without it. So if I was smart, I would have done that on the inside, and also on the bottom of that panel, I would have put the panel on this side with all the pocket jigs, with the pocket holes. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're going to ever use pocket holes, and then you're going to put a panel on top of something. Always do the pocket holes on the hidden side. So one thing I learned, and here's another place where I made a pretty big mistake, was I was cutting this, and the panel, I cut this bottom piece is a piece of MDF on top of, let me show you. Basically, I just did like that. I should have put these in before I put the panels on, because then I could have easily just screwed them in like this. I could have just screwed them in on this side. Instead, I put them in after I built the whole thing with the panels, and then I put the shelves in, and I had to use pocket holes. So they're not as strong, first of all. Second of all, they're uglier, because I would have just screwed it here, and then I would have put the panel on top. You wouldn't have even seen it. So that's another place I made a pretty major mistake. But it's not noticeable, and it doesn't really matter. So basically, yeah, I just have these things as the shelves, and I wouldn't have put them at the very edge. I could have done that either way. I could have put them more in the middle, so I would have had more coverage of the center area. Because basically, this potentially could cause a moment. It's so strong, it doesn't matter. So yeah, so that's 2 things I learned, is before you ever put panels that cover stuff, always try to figure out exactly where your pocket holes are going to be. And I wouldn't have had to use pocket holes in that case, which would have been stronger. So this panel, I didn't cut it long enough, so then I had a pretty large gap that I couldn't fill with wood filler. So what I did was I filled it with caulk, and then after that had dried, I filled it with wood filler, and then sanded that down. And you can tell it looks like shit, but it doesn't matter because it's all going to be painted in black, and that's on the inside of the desk. So in the end, it looks decent, and I made a bunch of little mistakes, but overall it's pretty decent. I'm going to put this phone down. I'm going to put the panel on and show you what the desk looks like now. And then I'll show you the paint I got. Okay. There you go. Obviously, it's not going to look like that. I have brackets that I'm going to use, and everything's going to go into the actual wood. So this is wood on the outside. I mean, wood in most places, and then there's several panels. So this is a MDF panel. MDF is nice because it's really flat. You can get a really nice flat surface on it. So you can see here's more places I screwed up and used did the pocket holes on the wrong side.
or basically put the panel on the side with the on the clean side instead of the pocket hole side. It doesn't matter, you would never see that, but it could just make it look really clean. Now the reason I put this extra board here is because I'm going to have another panel right here, and this board will push against it. So essentially the majority of the load is going to be right here where the monitor stand is, the VESA mount. So it's going to be pushing down here, so it'll be pushing back up here, causing the two inner sides to get flexed inwards. But then that panel here will get kind of squished. So it's kind of the mechanics of it is this will push down, that'll force this to push up, which will force these two boxes to kind of lean inwards, but then that panel will push out. So that's how everything would end up. But in order to do that, I had to have these actually in contact with each other. So I basically put the extra board there, and that panel, right, this one right here. This is something completely different. This panel right here would go in between. I'm going to show the finished product, but basically this is the desk. The little things I'm going to have is I'm going to have a VESA mount right here. I was thinking of putting a hole for the wires, but I checked and my keyboard and mouse wire are really long, and they'll be able to make it all the way from here all the way to the back into where my desktop would be. And then let me show you. This is the paint I bought. I saw some pictures of what it looks like painted. It looks really nice. It is called Semi-Flat. This is $40, this case right here, but it's Staples money, and I have like nearly unlimited supply of money from Staples. So if I can buy something from Staples, I'd rather buy it there, because I have a method of getting Staples money for free. So anyway, Semi-Flat. It's lacquer-based paint, so it's going to be somewhat stronger. I think you can either do lacquer-based or I forgot what the other base is. But it'll be pretty nice. I didn't want to go super glossy because then you'll see any imperfections. So the Semi-Flat is kind of in the middle between flat and glossy. Sorry, I was about to sneeze. So much dust. But yeah, basically I'm going to spray this whole thing. Possibly sand it down if I put it thick anywhere, and then I'm going to spray it again. So I'm going to do at least 2 layers of spray this weekend. Probably do like 1 tonight and then 1 tomorrow. I have to go do some errands, but basically that's it. It's a Krylon Semi-Flat. Does it say lacquer anywhere? Yeah, acrylic lacquer spray paint. So acrylic paint is a little bit newer than, newer than the old oil-based paints. This is an oil-based primer that you need for MDF, and it sticks better, but it's worse for the environment. The fumes are bad. But then this is acrylic. It's kind of a water base, but it'll fit on this. It'll sit on that primer just fine, I hope. I'm gonna test on this panel first, on the back side of that panel. But basically, that's the paint I'm gonna use. I saw a picture of someone who did like a speaker stand with that paint, and I really like the way it looked, so that's why I'm gonna end up using it. But yeah, basically that's my desk so far. I'll hopefully have it done sometime early next week, and put it in my room once it's dry and everything, and I'll show you what it looks like. So yeah, like I said, I was gonna have the headphone stand there, and then monitor stand there, and I was thinking of whether I was gonna have a headphone clip right here, but then I thought that might look crappy, so I'm gonna put it on the inside of this panel. I'm gonna drill it in right there, and then when I need to hang my headphones, I just put it and hang it like that. So I'll basically be where my headphones will be. I'll have a sub down there, and then monitor. This desk is huge, so it's like you have more than enough space for everything. But yeah, basically that's my desk so far. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions on building your own desk, basically if you want to build your own desk, really think about it, and then don't do it unless you're 100% sure you want to do it, because this is a shit ton of work. So hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys later.